allow this appointment lightly. The council does not. Disturbing is this move by
President Trump.
I understand.
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of
Constitutional right.
What? How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair. How can you be on the council and not be...
Constitutional right.
Take a seat, young
Privilege. What you just watched is a 100% completely factual, unbiased, error-free depiction of how the United States government treats one of the most neglected yet critical human rights in the world, housing rights. Not really, but the scene does hold some truth to it. Housing rights are the right to adequate housing and shelter, as you would guess. There have been many global preventative measures to counter the insufficient housing, most notably one in 1948, when many countries came together in order to combat and address these rights. With over 48 signatories, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is a breakthrough document in regards to human rights, addressing the wide variety of cultural, ethical, and legal backgrounds from all over the world. In this declaration, many major rights are covered, such as liberty, no slavery, no arbitrary arrest, and so on. However, Article 25 sheds light on a certain topic we are discussing right now, and I quote, "Everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of himself or herself, and of his or her family, including food, clothing, housing, and medical care, and necessary social services, and the right to security in the event of unemployment, sickness, disability, widowhood, old age, or other lack of livelihood in circumstances beyond his or her control." To sum up, everyone deserves housing no matter what. The real catch, however, is that the United States was one of these countries that signed this document, but it was never ratified in the US, rendering it obsolete. This is just one issue within the messy pile that is housing rights in the US. Out of 3.5 million Americans living in poor housing conditions that rival those found in developing countries, 38.6% of them are children. The detrimental effects of substandard housing harm both physical and mental health. On the physical side, poor housing can contain allergens, mold, and carbon monoxide, which are all linked to respiratory illnesses such as asthma and lead poisoning. Children are most susceptible to these problems, and growing up in this type of environment severely hinders their health in the long term. There are solutions to these unsanitary issues that come at a low cost, however, the most effective ones require much more money. On the psychological side, housing plays a key role in the mental and social development of children. In quality neighborhoods, people are connected to one another, allowing for strong bonds and social ties. They will experience good mental health, and when neighborhood infrastructure encourages people to get out and greet other neighbors, psychological well-being is likely to benefit. Those living in poor or even no housing do not have any of these advantages. Lack of resources, exposure to more physical stressors, and minimal social support may cause them to be more vulnerable to depression when negative situations and stress occur. The book Evicted provides an extremely insightful documentary-style recollection of different families living in Milwaukee. The main problem the book focuses on as a whole is how exploitative the United States housing system is. At what point must the housing be so poor that the government finally makes amends? The author has been advocating for housing rights to be human rights, and this book proves it. Throughout the story, landlords have complete control and dominance over their property, which spills over into the lives of their tenants. They have absolute power, and similar to any group or person with unchecked authority, the landlords abuse and exploit the desperate tenants. Overall, the United States housing model has major flaws. For one, it promotes unhealthy lifestyles for low-income families. Risk of diseases and mental issues correlate with the poor housing due to the unsanitary environment of their homes. As told by Desmond, the author, many families are put through constant hardships in their cycle of eviction, some even in what is called grinding poverty, which is when a person will never truly escape from poverty. It's about time the government fully recognizes housing rights as human rights.